Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm basically someone who's been deep diving into manifestation, the law of assumption, Neville Goddard, Joe Dispenza, all that good stuff, but I'm still learning. I'm not here pretending to be some guru who has everything figured out. I'm literally experimenting this in real time. But I have noticed the more I study, the more I test it, the more I see patterns. And I've realized that reprogramming your subconscious doesn't have to be this huge, mystical, complicated thing. It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. So today I want to walk you through a 7-day process that I've been using myself. It's beginner friendly, but it's also powerful enough that you'll see the shift if you actually do it. So, what reprogramming really means. Okay, before we jump into actual days, let's talk about what reprogramming your subconscious actually means. Because I used to hear that phrase and think it meant brainwashing myself or forcing myself to think positive 24/7. But really, your subconscious is just your autopilot. It's the beliefs you repeat without noticing. It's the emotional reactions you have before you even think. It's the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Neville Goddard calls it your state. Joe Dispenza calls it your memorized self. I just call it the version of you that runs the show when you're not even paying attention, right? So, reprogramming isn't about pretending, it's about shifting the identity you operate from. And that's what these 7 days are designed to do. So, day one is super simple. You're not changing anything today, you're just observing, you are noticing. Notice what thoughts keep repeating, what assumptions you jump to, what emotional patterns show up throughout the day, what you automatically say about yourself. Oh, why does this happen to me? This always happens to me, things like that. Neville says you can't change what you're unaware of. So today we'll talk about or notice just the awareness of our thoughts. Dispenza says you have to become conscious of your unconscious self. So today just watch yourself, don't judge it, don't even try to fix it. Just notice. You're basically collecting data on your current identity. Now that you've seen your patterns, day two is about choosing the version of you that you want to step into. Not some unrealistic fantasy version, just the next level of you. Ask yourself, what would the already confident me believe? What would the already successful me assume? What would the already loved me feel? Write it down. Write down 3 identity statements. I'm someone who dot dot dot. I naturally blank. I naturally dot dot. It's normal for me to, right? This isn't about forcing affirmations. It's about choosing a new baseline, a new default setting. Day 3 is where things start to shift. Your subconscious doesn't change from words, it changes from emotion. Well, we can talk more about the affirmation and robotic affirmations later, but for now, let's just do this. That's why Joe Dispenza talks so much about emotional rehearsal. So today, spend 5 to 10 minutes imagining yourself as the new identity. Not visualizing the outcome, visualizing you as a person who already has it. Ask, how would I breathe? How would I walk? How would I even talk? How would my energy feel like? Neville calls it living in the end, and Dispenza calls it mental rehearsal. Same concept, different language. Interrupt the old self. Today is about catching your old patterns in real time. When an old thought pops up like, I can't do this always happens to me, I'm not good enough, pause, interrupt it, redirect it. Not in a fake way, not in a toxic positivity way, not in a fake way, just a gentle, nope, we don't think like that anymore. This is literally how you rewrite neural pathways. You're teaching your brain a new pattern. Now we bring the identity into action. Ask yourself, what is one small thing the new version of me would do today? Not a huge leap, not a life overhaul, just one aligned action. Maybe it's sending an email, cleaning your space, journaling, going for a walk, speaking up, choosing differently. Identity becomes real through behavior. Even tiny actions count. Day 6 is one of my favorite because it's so easy. Neville Goddard says, the state you fall asleep in is the most powerful. And honestly, I have noticed this myself. Whatever I'm thinking before going to bed tends to show up in my mood the next day. So tonight, before you fall asleep, replay your new identity. Feel the emotions of already being that version. Drift off into that state. Your subconscious is wide open right before you sleep. This is where the magic happens. Day 7, embodiment, reflection. Embodiment and reflection. Day 7 is about reflecting and embodying. Ask yourself, what felt different this week? What changed? What resistance came up? What surprised you? And then ask, how can I continue being this version of me? Because reprogramming isn't one time event. We are not doing this, for 7 days and it's all done. It's a lifestyle. But 7 days is enough to feel the shift. Believe me, this has really worked out for me. Enough to see what's possible. If you made it through all 7 days, you're already ahead of most people. Most people never even become aware of this pattern, let alone try to change them. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a guru. You just need to be willing to observe yourself, choose differently, and show up as a version of you that feels more aligned. If you want me to turn this into a guided challenge or if you want a deeper breakdown of any of the days, just let me know. Before we wrap up, I want to be really honest with you about something. I am still learning all of this, like genuinely. I'm not sitting here pretending I've mastered my subconscious or that I'm floating through life in some perfect way. I'm literally figuring this out in real life, just like you. The only difference is maybe I've been studying it a little longer or I've tested a few things on myself. And I want to talk about what this looks like in my actual life. Because I'm not living on the mountain, I'm not meditating for 6 hours a day. I'm not disappearing from society to become my highest self. I'm still living my normal life. I still have responsibilities. I still have moments where I forget everything I just taught you. I still react sometimes. I still slip back into old patterns. But here's the thing, I'm catching myself faster now. And that's the real shift. How is this helping me right now? What I've noticed is that reprogramming your subconscious isn't about becoming a different person overnight. It's about becoming a slightly more aware version of yourself every day. For example, I notice when I'm talking down to myself. I notice when I'm assuming the worst. I notice when I'm slipping into the old emotional habits. I notice when I'm reacting from my past instead of my future. And instead of spiraling I'm like, oh, that's the old identity again. She needs to go. And that tiny moment of awareness, that is the reprogramming. It's not dramatic. It's not glamorous. Not some huge spiritual awakening. It's small, subtle shifts that add up. What I really want to emphasize is this. You don't need to escape your current life to reprogram your subconscious. You don't need a retreat, a silent meditation week, a new environment, a new job, a new relationship. You can literally do this while living your regular life. I'm doing this while dealing with responsibilities, routines, people, emotions, and all the normal human stuff. And honestly, I think that's the point. Neville didn't say you need to isolate yourself, or Joe Dispenza didn't say you need to quit your life. They both said the same thing in different ways. Your inner world is what changes your outer world, not the other way around. What I'm personally working on right now, just to be transparent, here are a few things I'm actively working on in my own subconscious. Trusting myself more, not overthinking outcomes, letting go of old emotional patterns, choosing the identity I want instead of the identity I inherited, responding instead of reacting, believing I'm worthy of things I want. I'm not perfect at any of these, but I'm better than what I was last month. And that's the whole point. Why I share this with you? I want you to know that you don't need to be some enlightened master to start this journey. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be high vibe 24/7. You just need to be willing to observe yourself, choose differently, practice a little bit every day, and that's it. And honestly, doing this while living your normal life is what makes it powerful. Because you're not escaping your reality, you're transforming it from inside. So if you're watching this and thinking, can I really do this while living my regular life? The answer is yes. You don't need a new life to start reprogramming your subconscious. You just need a new identity, and that starts inside you. And I'm right here doing it with you, not as a guru, not as an expert, just as someone who is a few steps ahead, maybe, and sharing what's actually working for me. If you want me to make a full video about my personal journey or the identity shifts I'm working on, right now, let me know. I'd love to share more of that with you. Thanks for being here with me, and remember, your subconscious is always listening. Make sure it's hearing the story you actually want to live.